Hi, I'm Melanie from Run to Health. This is day 2 of the daily Sanity Diaries. Now, hopefully, I can work my microphone this time because yesterday I spoke for a whole 5 minutes without a microphone. Whoopsie. So, today I thought I would bring you my dad. And why? Because he lives in France, and France are on a total lockdown right now. Now, the thing that concerns me is that all of the announcements made by Jacinda Ardern aren't completely being listened to. There's panic buying going on in the shops. We are starting to run out of certain things. There's certain restrictions being put on certain things. And now I'm watching England and France and various places in Europe. They're a few steps ahead and their shelves are empty. Now, this gives us a large problem when it comes to delivering resources because, especially in New Zealand, everything comes in via freight, mostly. So there's only a certain speed at which the shelves can be stocked at. So there's no use in stockpiling because, like Jacinda said, the shops will stay open. However, what does a complete lockdown look like? That is the question. So I thought I'd ask my dad. His name is Gary, and he lives in France, and they are in a complete lockdown right now. So, give me a second. Righty. Hello.
Hello.
And how are you today?
I'm fine so far.
Excellent. So tell me, how long has France been on a lockdown now?
Just a week.
Right.
Started
Okay.
on Friday a week ago.
Okay. So quite early on into this.
Yep.
So we were talking last week. Now, before the lockdown took place, and I remember you telling me you weren't too happy about the fact the schools are closed because that meant what? The art classes have been cancelled, and then you weren't too happy about the Mary being closed because that meant that the band was cancelled. And then just after we had that conversation, everything gets cancelled.
Yep.
So how are you feeling now?
I still feel okay. I'm kept busy.
All right. So they have said that people with underlying health conditions have got to be extra super careful. Now, heart surgery and are also diabetic. That puts you and over 70. So that puts you at the top of the hit list, really.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you doing to stay?
I've got 3 ticks, tick, tick, tick against those 3.
So what are you doing to stay safe?
What I'm doing to stay safe is to basically stay in the house. I go out only to buy food, and the last time we went to our hypermarket was a week ago. There was plenty of food, and there weren't too many people in, and we had no problem. Since then, I go into the local Spar, which is like 7 kilometers away, and we don't have any problem with food, except that I can't get bread that I like in there, but never have been able to. So it's nothing different.
Right.
So
So
we might
supplies
have to go to the
are still
hypermarket.
coming through in France, then that's good news.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
So,
Okay.
right. What else you want to know?
So how is your movements restricted? So a lockdown, people seem to think that a lockdown means you've got to stay inside the house. Is that the case?
No, we can go shopping for bread, for food. We can go for a walk, provided we're not going too far away. But as soon as we step outside our property line, we must have an attestation with us that says who we are, what date it is, where we're going, and why.
Okay.
Because we get stopped by the gendarme and you
Which
don't
is
have
the
that on
police
you,
in English?
it's 135. Sorry?
Is that the police in English?
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah,
gendarme?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gendarme. If you get stopped by them and you haven't got that with you, you've got an automatic €135 fine.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, we're fine.
Cool. So what are you doing to keep yourself amused?
Well, if you look around here, I've got my music stand. I've got all my art equipment here. I
Hmm.
had at the beginning of last week something like 8 paintings that weren't finished. I've reduced that to 4, and
Excellent
the
work.
art teacher. Pardon?
Excellent work.
The art teacher has emailed us to say that what she would like us to do is to do a piece of art and post it to all the members of the class once a week. So
Nice.
I'm going to be far too busy, because my problem is that I've got all these paintings unfinished because I don't work fast enough. So one a week, it'll have to be a postage stamp size or thereabouts. Other than that, well, I've got my model engineering. I can go and do some model engineering if I have the inclination, but I don't have that yet. It's not warm enough just yet to go and stand in a garage with all the steel and stuff. It'll be cold. So I'll leave that for now. But I've also got my music, so I can play my flute all day long if anybody wants to listen to it, other than me. And other than that, well, we find things to do.
How are you
All
staying
these little
connected
things
with
that you have
family?
by phone.
Fair enough.
It's
And
the only
is your
way, isn't it?
internet still working all right? Because the other thing that they've been concerned
Oh,
about here in New Zealand is the demand on internet with people stuck in their house. So some of the internet providers have boosted the cell tower outputs and things like that. How's your internet surviving?
it seems okay. I haven't noticed any difference.
All right, nice.
So, and I use it quite a bit. So,
And I know that you live in quite a rural location like me, and some people have been talking about the mail, disruptions to the mail and things. So how is that working in France?
well, as of today, our mail has stopped. There are no collections and no deliveries. Although a friend of ours was in the village this morning, bumped into the postman, and he has said that in order to prevent there being a huge backlog when this finishes, he is going to do occasional deliveries.
Okay.
So I presume that is without the knowledge of his employer. I don't know.
So what would happen, do you think, about medical supplies and things like that that you have to have delivered?
Medical supplies? Well, with the medication I'm on, there better not be too much. Although I'm not expecting there to be problems, to be honest. Oh, but another place that I can go to is I can go to the hospital,
Oh, okay.
not to visit, but if
Yeah.
need be, if I must go, I can go. If I've been told to go, I can go.
Right.
So,
So
other than
how do
that,
you get your medical supplies then? If you don't get them via post, how do you get your medical supplies?
go into the pharmacy. It's open.
Oh, okay.
I can go in there anytime. As long as I've got my piece of paper with me to say where I'm going, but what have you?
Is that a
So I got
special
pass
form or do
out.
you just write it on a scrap of paper?
Oh no, it's a special form.
Right.
So I mean, I've got a copy of those. Got a copy of those and take them up there. So what I've decided to do and change the date rather than print these things off. I'll run out of ink and paper.
Has Macron said how long he thinks this will last for?
No, no.
Because I was looking this morning to see how long China had to be in lockdown, and it was 2 months.
2 months. Yeah. So all we can do is just wait and see.
Have
you
Anything
talked
you
to
wish
anybody?
they'd done differently?
Sorry?
Is there anything you wish they had done or think they should do differently?
Well, the problem is that we don't watch that much French news. Judy will watch French news, but she has difficulty understanding the French because they talk that fast. I don't watch it because I know it's a waste of time me trying to watch it. So we tend to watch the English news.
Right.
So I think more about what's going on in England than I can about what's going on in France, really. So we're
Was
just
there...
playing the
Sorry, go ahead.
safe game. We're
Yeah,
staying in, washing our hands every so often, however often it takes, and just being careful. And in other words, we're using common sense, which isn't too common these days.
No, no. Something I said in I get my trade supplies for work from a trade shop, and I can't now get any refills for our hand soap wall hand soap dispensers. And I was saying to the guy in the shop there, I can't understand what is going on. Did nobody wash their hands before? Are they all just like doing it now, and were they not doing it before?
There's a few things I don't think they've done if they're running out of oh, dear me. You said I would be on a split screen. I'm not. I've got a little tiny corner up in the.
You are at my end. Don't you panic. You are at my end. So yeah. So was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Not really. I got really upset yesterday when I watched an item that was on the UK news, and it was a nurse coming off her shift had gone into the supermarket to buy some food to last the next 2 days, and there wasn't anything. I think it was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The medical staff are taken far too much taken for granted.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Well, this woman pointed out that she was there helping people like them who may need her help if she survives that long.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
I know. But hopefully it will pass by quickly, and hopefully the rest of the world will manage to contain it in the same way as China, same way as China has managed to, and this thing won't last for long because the global economy won't be able to cope with it for very long if it does. I don't think.
Well, I think this is probably going to change life as we know it permanently.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to lose a lot of airlines, which is going to mean that air travel is going to become expensive again.
Yes.
For quite a while.
Don't get sick, will you? Because I'm not sure I can get to France right now.
Well, if I get sick, I'm sorry. You just have to do whatever you do from long distance.
Yes, the New Zealand government have announced a rescue package for Air New Zealand because there's a real danger Air New Zealand could go under because of this.
Yeah, well, I think the same will probably happen in every country. They'll rescue an air company, but they can't do them all.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that we don't have anymore is the ferries, Brittany ferries from northern France to England. They're all off. As are the ferries further around the coast. We have friends who were in Morocco, and it's taken them something like 3 weeks to get one across to Spain, up through Spain, through France to they ended up going to the tunnel port, and I think today they actually managed to get on a train. So that's taken them like a fortnight. Then they're in a camper van. a big
Yeah.
camper van, and they were showing us images at the Morocco end, and there was hundreds of camper vans all queued up waiting to get on a ferry.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was, yeah, it's been,
Yeah. See, here, the problem here is that they've closed the New Zealand borders to anyone except for returning Kiwis or permanent residents. But the airlines are struggling. The airlines are struggling to continue operating because of the drop in demand. So New Zealanders abroad are struggling to get back here.
Yeah, that's what happens, isn't it?
Mm.
You can't win them all.
No.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you for your assistance. Don't go anywhere.
You're welcome.
I'll be back in a minute. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was my dad, Gary, from France, talking about what it's like in France with the lockdown. So I think the issue here is that we all need to actually abide by the rules in the country that we're in order to keep this thing contained, because if we don't, this will stretch on for longer, and the economy can't cope with that. So thank you for joining me, and thank you, Gary, and I will be back tomorrow.